The shadows of the past have made us stronger. The scars from old battles still burn, and that's exactly why we're ready. The season hasn't started yet, but something is already in motion. It's not just the wind blowing through Lincoln Financial Field. It's the muffled roar of a fan base that never stopped believing. It's the flapping wings of an eagle that fears no storm. While many are counting down the days, we feel every tick of the clock deep in our chest. The heart of the Green Nation beats with the certainty that this year will be different, not by chance, but by destiny. The team is ready, the foundation is set, and behind the scenes, moves are being made that could reshape the course of the season. Today, fellow fan, I'm opening the gates to what's coming. Whether you've carried this passion since the early days, or just recently started to fly with us, this moment belongs to all of us. If green and white runs through your veins, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, comment, go Birds! So much faith, let's fly even higher. Now, let's get to it. This first piece of news is going to hit you hard. Despite losing over 4,000 defensive snaps from last season due to free agency exits, trades, retirements, and players simply not returning, this Eagles defense is still getting tons of love from across the league. That's right, even with key veterans like Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson no longer in the building, this defensive unit is earning respect. Why? Because of the young core and the leadership of defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who retained his entire staff, continuity that cannot be underestimated when it comes to chasing championships. Let's rewind a bit. The 2024 season was nothing short of legendary. Saquon Barkley lit it up. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith continued to be unstoppable. The offensive line? Unquestionably the best in the league. And Jalen Hurts? He played out of his mind in the NFC Championship and took home Super Bowl MVP honors as the Eagles captured their second Lombardi trophy since 2017. They didn't just win, they sent a message to the entire NFL. From roster construction to player development to coaching, the Eagles showed the league how it's done. Now, back to the defense. Early in 2024, things were shaky. But after the Week 5 bye, something clicked. Nakobe Dean took over as a starter, and the transformation was undeniable. That unit went on to absolutely dismantle Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. Flustered, confused, overwhelmed, Mahomes had no answers. And that brings us to now. Heading into 2025, the defense looks different on paper, but don't let that fool you. The ceiling remains sky high. Just ask All-Pro linebacker Zach Bond, first-team All-Pro, finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, who recently joined the exciting Mike's podcast with Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship. According to Bond, this Eagles defense is already miles ahead of where they were this time last year. That's a bold statement, and coming from a guy like him, you better believe it carries weight. Bond won't be carrying the load alone. This linebacker unit, according to Pro Football Focus, is ranked number 1 in the NFL. Let that sink in. That's ahead of the Lions, Patriots, Chiefs, and Commanders. The Eagles have changed their approach here. Credit to Howie Roseman for finally putting real investment into the position. Bond's contract extension was well earned after he posted a league-best 90.2 PFF grade. Nakobe Dean followed closely with a 77.4. They added insurance with Jayad Campbell, considered the top linebacker in the 2025 draft class. And let's not forget the depth. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Smile London Jr. are waiting in the wings. Now let's talk trenches, because that's where you win games. Pro Football Focus ranked the Eagles' defensive line the second best in the NFL, behind only the Steelers. Even after losing Josh Sweat and Milton Williams in free agency, this line remains elite. Why? Because of the talent pipeline. Jalen Carter posted an 84.4 pass rush grade, 4th among interior defenders. Moro Ojomo, 6th at his position with an 82.4 grade. And the youth movement is real. Jordan Davis is 25, Carter is 24, Nolan Smith is 24, Jalen Hunt is 24, Ojomo is 23, and rookie Ty Robinson is 24. That's not just a solid core, that's a foundation for the future. Let's not ignore the additions either. Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt are taking on bigger roles. The Eagles went out and grabbed Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche to bolster the edges. And then there's Antoine Poland, a rookie with massive upside. This front could be scary. In fact, even without blitzing, the Eagles generated pressure 36% of the time last year, 5th highest rate in the league. That speaks to raw talent and scheme execution. Now, while the front seven looks stacked, the secondary carries a few question marks. The biggest, who lines up opposite Quinyon Mitchell? The rookie Mitchell and slot corner Cooper DeJean were the top 2 rookies in man coverage last year. Both have bright futures. But the outside corner role is up for grabs. Will it be Khalil Ringo or Adoree Jackson? And with injuries to Nakobe Dean and Jayad Campbell, who fills that second linebacker role alongside Bond in Week 1? Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Andrew Mukuba next to Reed Blankenship at safety? Or does Sidney Brown make a leap? These are real battles to watch as camp unfolds. Offensively, the Eagles return 10 of 11 starters from their Super Bowl winning lineup. That kind of continuity is gold. The only shift? Kevin Patullo stepping in as offensive coordinator. There may be a few bumps as the offense adjusts early in the season, but this defense is strong enough to carry the team through those growing pains. If everything clicks by midseason, we're looking at a squad that could be firing on both sides of the ball by playoff time. So here's the big question I want to ask you as we close out this first part. With all the changes and the rising young stars, where do you think this Eagles defense will rank in 2025? Top 5 again? Or even number 1? With the front 7 already drawing comparisons to the best in the league, the Eagles' secondary becomes the final piece of the puzzle in Vic Fangio's defensive chessboard. But let's not mistake uncertainty for weakness. Yes, there are still questions, but there's also talent, raw, fast, aggressive talent. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are no ordinary young corners. Last year, as rookies, they ranked number 1 and number 2 in man coverage according to Pro Football Focus. That is almost unheard of. And when you consider that kind of production came from 2 first-year players in a high-pressure system, the possibilities for their sophomore campaigns are electrifying. These two don't just hold their own. They're building the future identity of this Eagles defense. The major intrigue comes with who will start alongside them. If DeJean stays in the slot, which makes the most sense given his instincts and physicality inside, then the outside corner position is wide open. Khalil Ringo has the physical profile. He's long, fast, and has been developing steadily. But Adoree Jackson brings the veteran savvy and consistent technique that you want against elite WR1S. That battle could go down to the wire during training camp. Either way, the Eagles don't need a miracle here. They just need one of them to be solid while the pass rush and linebackers do their job up front. The same goes for the safety position. Reed Blankenship is locked in, but who joins him? Andrew Mukuba has the tools, range, quickness, anticipation, and has been drawing praise in the early part of the offseason program. But Sidney Brown, despite an up-and-down 2024, brings an edge and tenacity that Fangio may love. This competition isn't about filling a hole, it's about figuring out which talented piece fits best in the system. When that gets sorted, the back end could surprise people. Let's not overlook one of the most important elements driving confidence in this defense, coaching stability. Unlike the offense, which lost Kellen Moore and shuffled key coaching roles, the defensive staff remained completely intact under Fangio. That kind of continuity allows young players to flourish. It builds trust, consistency, and a higher level of understanding in the scheme. This is a system that demands execution, not flash. And with another full offseason under Fangio, this unit is being primed to operate like a machine. And now, speaking of machines, this defensive line isn't just young and talented. It's historic. According to PFF, the Eagles' starting D-line is the youngest in the entire NFL. But it's also one of the most effective. The raw pressure stats don't lie. 5th in the league in pressure rate without blitzing. That's as good as it gets in modern football. You don't have to sell out to generate chaos. When your front 4 is causing that kind of havoc, it changes everything.